All right, let's talk about CJ Stroud and the Texans. Listen, this was a terrible day by the Texans. It just was. I mean, all the injuries, just in itself was awful, not to mention getting crushed by the Jets. Let's talk about what went wrong on the football field and what maybe we can learn from this and where Houston potentially has to improve if, assuming Stroud comes back and they're okay in that regard, how they can potentially get better. Well, let's get into it, starting off with this play. It's going to be a zone coverage play, and it's just a simple play. It's the halfback's route running underneath. That's where they're going to look to throw the football. However, right when this begins, one thing I would maybe critique here is not, the kind of the setup routes, the ones pushing linebackers further deep aren't that far deep. I maybe would have liked to see it a little bit further, or you're trying to get them more out of position. Granted, if you run too far, then the Jets will know what's up. But I mean, if you look, there's a New York player that's over this. He sees what's going on right here. So I don't know if I really have a hard time sitting here and saying, wow, what a bad play by CJ Stroud. Because to be honest, if I saw this and I was CJ Stroud, I'd probably throw it too. It does look open. That Jets player isn't like right next, jumping the route clearly from this point. So Stroud, he's already, the ball's coming out of his hands. I get it. But as you see, CJ Mosley jumps in front of the football, nearly has the interception there. I don't know, maybe if it was, a half step quicker, could have had a pick six potentially. That was on the table, but could have had an interception there. Got a little lucky with that. But that's just a good example of what the Jets do in general, right? Really good defense. You think you have, gaps to throw to, and it turns out you don't. That was an aspect. But also going over here, so this is going to be, a couple things to note. For one thing, it's man coverage. So you got one-on-one matchups across the board for Houston. On top of this, I've highlighted Bryce Huff, the edge rusher here for the Jets. He's going to be going up one-on-one against George Fant, the right tackle, who's solid. He's all right. Not a superstar, not a bad player either. He's fine. Let's see what happens here. So Stroud takes a snap, and Fant is just slow in getting over there because there was, the Jets were kind of showing blitz there. They were showing pressure. They did blitz, but that also resulted in Fant being a little bit late in getting over there. On top of this, Stroud is going to try and outrun him. He's going to try and run in that direction, see if he can get around him and try to get something open. Again, like I said, a lot to talk about on this play. You look down the field, nothing is open now. So an immediate pressure and good coverage on a 3rd down and 6, that's usually a recipe for disaster. As you see, Stroud tries to run around Huff, does not work. Huff gets the sack there. So again, good defense, and that's one of the main takeaways you have to have, is this is a good defensive team, although you also have to think about this as, big part of what was making Houston so good was their receivers. And with Tank Dell injured and with Nico Collins going down in this game, it wasn't as good. It just wasn't. But also heading over here, there were some near misses, and you do have to wonder if a couple of these are hit instead of missed, does the whole game change? If they get a touchdown here or get a touchdown, in the first half, does the dynamic of the game change? Does Zach Wilson start trying to do too much and, turn the ball over? I don't know. Well, here you have, it's actually Noah Brown, the player who's really played well for them, kind of surprisingly come in and, had a real impact, and he might have to have a real impact down the stretch here as they have their, receiver injuries at this point. He's going to have a one-on-one. He's the one closest towards the top of the screen. He's going to have a one-on-one matchup against the corner. Stroud is going to take the snap. He is going to eventually look in that direction. He fires in that direction. Also worth noting, this is a 3rd and 12. So, hey, got a one-on-one matchup deep down the field, 3rd and 12. It's pretty much always going to be the right play to throw it down the field, but especially when it is this open. There's a window. I'm not saying it's a wide open window. I'm not saying it's a massive window, but there is a window for Stroud to hit here. But Stroud leads Brown a little bit closer towards the middle of the field. Brown can't make would have been an incredible catch if he caught it, but can't quite make it there. It's worth noting, I could have mentioned this earlier, but a lot of rain coming down, and feels like that was an impact as well. And I do wonder if, there wasn't as much rain, if better conditions were had, does this game go a little bit differently? Did it hit a couple of those throws, and now we're talking about it in a completely different light? Maybe even if they still lose, the offense looks better. The nice thing is, you're not going to play in the rain every week, right? They do have they play in kind of a dome, right? NRG Stadium has that retractable roof thing going on. But so, you're going to at least get some good conditions here. Definitely that could be good getting out of the rain. Maybe that was a factor, or maybe they just missed on a couple plays. I don't know. Like this one was another one. And again, I'm not saying these are easy plays by any means here. So the way this works is it's going to be a man coverage concept, and it's a one-on-one matchup on the outside that they're going to look towards. This is Robert Woods. He's the one running the route here. As you see when this play begins, you're going to notice that there is a window, right? Stroud made the throw. I would say definitely a bit too much air under this throw. That's something I saw a little bit in this game. Not sure exactly what that was. Again, maybe it didn't get quite as good of a grip on some of the throws. That's possible. But, good throw, good catch. On 3rd down and 9, you can pick up the first down. We're still talking about a tie game here with 3 minutes left in the first half. However, like I said, a little bit too much air under it. Woods tries to see if he can get both feet in bounds. Can't quite make it happen. So just not quite able to make some of these plays. These are plays that we've seen Houston hit on a lot this season. They hit on these plays really with a high rate. They don't hit on it here, and that's a big part of what went wrong in this game. Also, a play like this. So this is going to be a man coverage concept. 3rd down and 6. It's John Mechie running over the middle. Okay, John Mechie. Let's see what he can do. He might have to step up. He's someone who I really liked a lot coming out of college. Now, obviously he's had, his battle with leukemia, but he's back on the field now, so which is cool to see. And maybe they're gonna need to hit more out of him. Well, okay, one-on-one matchup. He's gonna be going up one-on-one against Tony Adams here, so maybe a bit of a favorable matchup, as favorable as it seems to get against this Jets defense. And also, that graphic you see on the bottom of the screen, that just happened to be put up there. But the Jets, 206 passing yards to the Texans, -1 currently at this point. That's not good. But okay, let's see if Mechie can change that. So Stroud takes a snap, and to be honest, Mechie's open. Like, this is what you're hoping for here. There is a window to hit, and this can definitely be a first down here. However, when Stroud steps up, the throw is just a bit too late in getting there, and a bit behind. Mechie doesn't make the catch. Again, he still had a chance at making the grab, but good defense there to come back on that play by Tony Adams, so give him credit there. But just as a whole, that's just kind of how this game was for Texans. They were getting close, but they weren't quite getting it done. And how much of it is the Texans playing poorly? How much of it is the weather? How much of it is the Jets defense is good? I think it was a combination of all of those things. I don't think that the Texans are dead, assuming that, as long as Stroud comes back, I still think they have a chance to. I still think they probably make the playoffs. I still think they have a pretty decent chance at, getting there. But it does feel like with some of these injuries, just the ceiling has been lowered for this team. That's just how I kind of view it right now. But yeah, that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.